Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio.
where we went to EPCOT, and
Yeah.
we want to report back on some of the new experiences that we were able to experience and share some details firsthand from some of Disney's newest stuff.
We had a magical night.
Yeah, we had so much fun.
Yeah. It was kind of ideal, I feel like. And I was really worried about our timing, but everything worked out.
Yeah, I would say more fun than I expected at certain points of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah. We, first of all, the reason that we were incentivized to visit Epcot was because we were offered a pass holder preview for Moana. Well, the journey of water inspired by Moana.
From now on, to be called by me, Moana.
Indeed.
There's no way I'm saying all of that. I'm going to be like, do you want to go over and see Moana?
And I will know what you mean.
I will not mean the character.
Right. Because we're never going really to meet characters.
Right.
In fact, Morgan shared with me today that she's going to make a Figment-inspired dress. And I said, oh, how exciting. Figment is meet and greeting now. You could meet Figment wearing the Figment dress. And she said, I don't want to meet Figment.
I'm not doing that. I don't know if you guys have seen pictures of the new Figment that you can go meet, but he is not the cute little Figment that you know and love from, the ride or your past. He's like big and creepy looking.
Oh, he's the Figment from my past.
My
dark checkered past.
Your past of nightmares.
No, he's definitely a little, let's say, deluxe size.
Terrifying. Well, I know, but also the eyes.
Right. There's a lot to say.
Yeah.
Do we want to unpack this now? or...
That's all I have to say. I just, why is he terrifying?
Yeah, he's definitely a little spooky. You know what would be fun? If you could, I guess it's not enough of a draw to meet, like, Dreamfinder and then to have a small animatronic Figment.
Yes.
That would be
That's
amazing.
what they...
Yeah.
It would be great if it was, like, BB-8, but Figment, and, like, cute and little.
Right.
Never in my imagination was he, like, 10 feet tall and tripping over himself.
Godzilla-like in nature. You didn't see that for him?
No.
I saw pure terror. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it is a little, I don't know, surprising to see that kind of... But I think, isn't historically that's what Figment has always looked like in meet and greets, right?
I don't know. I've never gotten to meet and greet Figment before, so I've only ever known him as a ride character where he's cute and little, or like in paintings and topiaries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Always cute.
Yes.
Never terrifying.
He's a little, I don't know, he gives off an air of being a little sinister.
This is like the Figment that should be in their Halloween special or something.
All right. Enough ragging on the Figment, the Figment meet and greet Figment.
I'm just surprised.
All right.
I'll stop. We loved going to experience Moana and hang out in Epcot.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
And they will have a Moana that you can meet and greet.
Yeah, she'll be there
towards the end of the...
We think. We actually, going and experiencing this, we didn't actually see where Moana will be meeting and greeting.
Yeah,
so we really
it was a topic of conversation. Like, well, where is she going to be? Because she's going to draw a line.
Disney says nearby, so we'll go with their word.
Okay.
It'll be, I'm sure, right next to, or at the end of, one or the other, to the attraction. I'm always excited to go into Epcot. I love Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
Spaceship Earth was all lit up because we were there at night, so that's nice. It was beautiful. And we were super excited to do Moana. At the time we went, it was cloudy, beginning to rain, or looking like it was about to rain. And apparently, even though the attraction is about water, when there is water falling from the sky, they're like, no, you
can't have both.
Or I guess maybe they closed it based on lightning. I don't know. Was there lightning?
I don't know, but that still does that make sense? I guess they don't want you being... I don't know. I'm not going to speculate.
Electrocuted?
I know, but... Okay.
I'm just joking.
It's not a pool.
Yeah. So we were worried we weren't going to get to do it.
Yeah, we
were. It was down.
Because it was closed.
Right.
For water.
Yeah. Maybe it's just too slippery and dangerous in there. I don't
know. Nope, that can't be it. Because there's always water.
Yeah.
Because it's water.
What's this attraction
It's got to be
about?
lightning. It's got to be lightning.
The Queen?
So while we were waiting for the rain to pass, we went to experience the new Soarin. And Yay. By new, I mean old.
We went to go play some trivia. Oh, yeah, it is old. In the best way.
They have brought back Soarin' over California for a limited time, and they have not specified how long that will be. Nope. It could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years.
You gotta guess, you nerds.
Yep, no idea. So we went ahead and did it because we didn't know how long the opportunity was going to continue to present itself, and we waited in a pretty crazy long line.
Yeah, we did, because we're what? Committed to Soarin' over
California. Yeah.
What do you think it was worth it?
Oh yeah. It's funny because after we did it, and I had been on it, and Jake had been on it, but you were a child.
Yes, but as soon as it began and we started riding it, it all came right back to me. It was crazy.
But Michael had not been on it.
Right.
We took him, so
because Michael, Morgan's husband, is Disneyland was his home park, but California Adventure had not yet been constructed, so no Soarin'.
Right.
Although this was a beautiful flyover of California.
Yeah. And the orange smell is back.
And of course the orange smell is back. I will say I thought the scents really delivered. I really liked all of the different scents. And
my guess, for everybody who's wondering on how long it will last, is until they run out of orange smell.
How long it will last? Oh, how long Soarin' over California will last?
My hypothesis is that they bought an X amount of orange smell, and when it runs out, it's out.
Right, they're not going to reorder.
Right.
Understood. So something that we had speculated upon before writing this was whether or not the film would be remastered or they would potentially enhance it in some way or perhaps refilm some sections of it. And it turns out it is good old Soarin' over California vintage.
Yeah,
what is
circa 90s.
What are your feelings on the unrestored, unremastered film?
So I didn't think that there was a chance that they had that they would refilm it. I do, I guess, understand the speculation that it could have been remastered in a way if that's like kind of gotten to the point where it's hitting a button, you know what I mean? But so I wasn't expecting anything better, so I was fine with it. Yeah, it's the same. You can definitely tell image quality wise that it's not new.
Right.
Although I don't find Soarin' around the world to be particularly mind-blowing. I mean, as far as film quality or whatever.
Right.
Because of the whole Eiffel Tower bending situation.
Right.
Which they don't have in Soarin' over California.
Right.
I find the ride to be extraordinary. I love the ride. I'm not saying I don't love the ride. I'm just saying, yeah.
I love the ride too. The resolution definitely didn't bother me.
Okay, good.
You know?
Yeah. Well, you should probably talk on how parts of the new one are CGI and parts of and the old one is not, because I didn't know this. I don't have the graphic artist mentality that you have, and maybe some of our listeners feel the same.
Okay.
Because I found this very interesting when you guys were talking about it.
Oh, it is kind of interesting because the first one, there's no CGI, or I guess I should say probably minimal retouching. But in Soarin' around the world, the geographic shots of locations are actual shots captured with cameras, but a lot of what you see in terms of like animals or people in the frame or any of the transitions or anything like that is completely computer animated, to an extent that by modern standards would seem out of place, but maybe not so much so that it is worth them spending the money to remaster it again. So we also have like a warp issue, like a fisheye kind of issue with um, that existed in a small way in Soarin' over California, but in Soarin' around the world, it tends to be like a big warping of objects, especially at the Eiffel Tower. People talk about a lot because of Saw, and that has to do with the way the film is shot and then retooled and rewarped within their image mapping software.
So for somebody without this like graphic design mindset, I knew and was, you know, understanding of the fact that the transitions were CGI. Like when a kite flies in front of the screen and that's supposed to kind of like jump scare you and transition you into the next location. But when you guys said that like all the people that you see like walking around or swimming around or boating around, that they're all CGI, that's the part that shocked me.
Yeah, we did. The line was pretty long. A lot of people, I guess, being excited for the original version of the film to come back. Did you feel like the ride was worth the wait?
Yeah, I did. And I think that part of the reason the line was long and probably will continue to be long is because we don't know how long we have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if we knew we had 6 months, then I probably wouldn't have waited for what, over an hour?
Yeah. Yeah, it ended up being it was posted at 50, I think, but
50 when we got there, 75 earlier in the day.
Right. We ended up waiting probably an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you that people don't know how long we're gonna have the chance, so they're all wanting to ride.
Yeah.
I bet it'll be around for at least a couple months.
You think so?
Yeah.
Through Christmas.
Because I don't think they would even go through the energy of switching the reel out unless they were going to.
And the smells.
Wait, and the smells. Yeah, actually, yeah. With that kind of effort, just for the fact that they probably want to at least empty the smell canisters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's when they'll stop doing it, when they run out of orange smell.
Yeah, I bet. That's how we'll know to call it. For the old version of the ride, did you ride this back
as a kid? Yeah, I did. Yeah,
back
and I guess in
the 2000s.
In through the 2000s, right? Yeah, I think as a young adult, I did ride it this way. This is the way that I knew it and loved it for years.
Right.
I like the new one too, but I mean, after the fact, you and I were talking about which one we liked better, and in that moment, we were both saying that we liked the California one better.
Yeah. When we got to experience the California one again, I think something that really I think the experience really reminded me of how much I prefer the original.
Really?
Yes.
Or do you think it was in the moment you were so excited?
Well, of course, in the moment I was very excited, but also not having to be on edge for when the transitions were going to happen is something that for
I've gotten so used to those.
Really helped me enhance my experience. I like how relaxing that version is.
Yeah.
And although without the transitions, it shows its age more. Also, of course, with the resolution of the film, it shows its age. But the syncing of the cuts to the music, I think, highlight the music, which I think is a top tier part of the Soarin' experience is the score.
Yeah, I love listening to the music. Like if I'm just listening to Parks music, getting excited about going.
Yeah. So I love that.
Yeah.
And there are moments of it that I just find to be like iconic, standout.
I do too.
Soarin' moments.
Yeah.
Like
the Soarin' music is like a EPCOT. It's like the EPCOT music to me.
Yeah. It's definitely entrance loop material.
Yes.
Yeah. And also I think there are moments in the film itself that I find to be like what I think of when I think of Soarin', like the paraglider encounter, the golf ball moment, the original transition piece of them all.
Right.
I find those moments to because they are rarer throughout the film.
Right.
I find them to really be big, standout, cinematic moments that I really had big reactions to,
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't know why I liked the California one better. I like them both. Like now that we're sitting here and it's been a day, I'm like, I don't know which I would pick. You know what I mean? If they were going to keep what I really wish is that because there's two theaters, at least in Disney World, I don't know how it is in Disneyland. Do you?
Right. No, not off the top of my head.
In Disney World, we have two theaters. My wish is that they could do one of each.
That would be awesome.
And you could choose, or that it could be you don't know what you're getting.
Ooh, randomized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too.
I don't know which would work better for them as far as guest satisfaction. Probably letting people choose.
Yeah, my honest ultimate Soarin' situation would be like a Star Tours type of moment where your journey is stitched together, randomized, different little adventures. Totally different.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But my immediate back to earth dream is that when they reopen Soarin' Around the World, it is corrected.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Would you take out the Eiffel Tower scene entirely?
No, because
there's a way to do it right.
There has to be something here. If they can't do it better, then that's when I would say pull the plug,
right,
and do a new version of Soarin'.
Right.
Because I think to bring the Soarin' Around the World back without the Eiffel Tower scene is a total admit of defeat.
Well, I mean, better than leaving it.
Exactly, which is why at that point, if I couldn't get it fixed, rather than saying it was unfixable, but so we just took out that whole 30-second portion of the film, I would rather at that point then say, okay, what does it cost to just kind of fix this or do some new footage, some new drone footage, you know? Actually, I'm sure that is way cheaper than almost any other reskin that they could possibly imagine.
Right.
You know?
I mean,
especially with their unparalleled access to the world's leading media capture technology.
Right.
Disney, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, this seems like probably wouldn't even be that expensive to reshoot the thing.
I have no idea, but this is people make fun of this to the level of making shirts that show a leaning Eiffel Tower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This isn't like us being nitpicky and it's just a little off.
If you have a tattoo of the wobbly Eiffel Tower, can you send it to us? You can DM us at NeverlandNavCo on Instagram, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, please.
Or if you have any funny Disney tattoos.
Isn't that so funny when that's hilarious.
I love that kind of stuff.
But I have seen a lot of shirts and stuff like that with it on there. Yes. Fix it.
The unofficial mascot of Soarin' Around the World.
Yeah, but also when it comes back, the ending won't be correct either. You know what I mean? Because
Unless they fix it.
Right. Epcot's being totally redone.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be able to fix it until it was done, right?
Right. Well,
unless they
the walls
CGI
are coming down in December.
It's true.
So hopefully.
So is that what you're thinking?
That's what.
Genuinely?
In my heart.
Not your blue sky.
That's what I hope. But practically, I'm thinking they're going to let this run for a couple months and then stick the old one right back
Really?
in there.
So you don't think they're going to even do the end?
I would like for them to, but if I had to guess right now, I would say...
You think they would have told us?
Probably not. I don't... Maybe they're saving it for the next D23 so they can get as many announcements as possible. You know what I mean? So next time they'll say, I hope you've been enjoying Soarin' over California. We'll get ready because later this year... Either brand new Soarin', not gonna happen, or we fixed Soarin' Around the World. Don't laugh at us anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they changed PhilharMagic a little bit and added the Coco scene, and I don't know the terminology. Maybe it scrubbed it or did something to make it just look better.
Remastered it for sure.
When they did that wasn't like a D23 announcement. I don't think.
Yeah.
It was?
Yes, and it's one that I was very excited by.
It was a D23 announcement?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe for just a little add-on. They didn't feel the need to do a full announcement. I didn't remember that being a D23
They want to stuff the parks panel with like as many things as they can make an announcement, including they announced that the parking trams were going to return at D23, and then they didn't for like a year. So like,
yeah,
they'll say
but
anything
that's what
up there.
They shouldn't be doing. Okay.
Yeah, I agree, but they do.
Yeah. Okay.
They do.
We still don't have parking trams in 2 of our parks.
Yeah, I saw another announcement saying they were coming back. Let's see.
I make a joke about it literally every time we go.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, Soarin' over California. This, in my opinion, it was worth the wait.
It was not refilmed though.
No. It was in its original form.
Glory, sure.
But I was happy.
I was happy too.
For that.
Yeah.
If they're gonna, bring back a throwback attraction, might as well.
I was a little worried that they wouldn't go back to all the smells, but they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I think that would be such a cheap thing for them to do. I would hate that.
Right.
I'm glad. I didn't even know I should have been worried about that, but I'm so glad they brought back all the scents.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't really say why they were doing this. I really can't imagine that there's any reason other than we need to redo the end of the current one because it's no longer accurate.
When they open this back up and nothing has changed, we're going to be so disappointed.
Yeah, but...
what are we going to do?
Yeah. But you're right, if they didn't announce it. But they did announce that they were going to this, but they didn't really say why.
We'll have to see it this D23, I'm telling you.
Next year? Like a full year from now?
Yes, they're going to let it run.
For a year.
Why not?
Okay.
It's just Soarin' over California. It's
not like there's nothing, yeah.
Right. And also, as soon as they make that announcement, people are gonna feel like that's a good reason.
Yeah. I do. So. I think so too. But waiting a full year for it, when they said limited time only, so you can do Soarin' over California, I just think if it goes a year and we don't know why officially.
It's EPCOT. Everything takes a couple years at least. At least.
I didn't think about this, but yeah.
Speaking of which, we got to go behind some of the walls.
Yeah. So when we got off Soarin', the rain had stopped.
Yeah, magically. The water cycle or something. I don't know. I didn't read any of the plaques.
I didn't either. I took pictures.
Right. Why did the rain stop, Morgan?
I'm sorry.
Okay, what did we do when the rain stopped? Sorry.
We went to go see Moana.
Yay. Well,
not the character.
Yeah.
The area.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We got to see the journey of water, which is cool. Honestly, the thing I was more excited about than the actual experience was that we got to go behind the wall.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
It's the beginning of the end is here.
Yes.
The light at the end of the tunnel is named Tafiti. I almost said Moana, but she wasn't actually there.
Oh my gosh.
And we got to go behind the wall and go into the attraction that they've been building in there forever.
Years and years.
And we thought it was going to be what, Morgan?
Disappointing.
And a splash pad.
A splash pad.
100. Morgan was like, the new Moana splash pad.
Yeah, I was convinced, you guys. You know that splash area over in front of Guardians and Mission Space where some kids run around and some water's like popping up out of the ground? I was convinced that we were getting a Moana-themed version of that.
Right.
Yeah, so luckily, I guess, we went into this with low expectations.
Absolutely.
But... hey, it was better than we thought. We were pleasantly surprised, like really, really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I think a huge benefit to our personal experience and something I would recommend is the timing in which that we went was like, I joked when we got in line for it. It was like golden hour, except for there was cloud cover.
It would have been.
golden hour.
It was golden hour without the gold.
Yeah. The sun was setting. So by the time we were like back up in this whole water area, it was turning dark.
Yeah. And honestly, that was a great time.
Perfect.
to experience it. I think honestly that probably really positively impacted.
I think so too.
Our enjoyment, because guess what? There's a lighting package in there.
So and Spaceship Earth lights were right there, right behind it.
But it was so bright that we could still experience all of the colors and textures of like the rock work and the foliage that they had designed to be seen.
So
we got the best of everything.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see it in the middle of the day to see if it's as impressive as it was at the time that we went, because it was so perfect.
I was wonderstruck. I felt like a child, walking, which I think is the point.
The other thing is the space in which I imagined this Moana themed splash pad with a topiary was
photo spot.
Yeah, was small. Like in my head, it was going to be like room sized. You know what I mean? But this thing is huge, you guys.
It's I
don't even understand.
I feel like the term walk-through attraction really, really well suits this experience, this journey of water, because that's what it is. It's like the word
walk-through attraction is such an underwhelming term. You know what I mean?
Now, I would agree with you, but historically, when you think of like the things that were meant to be walk-through attractions.
And what do we say? We go, oh, thank God that they're not. You know what I mean? Oh, Pirates was supposed to be walk-through. Thank God that it's a fun boat ride. You know what I mean?
Well, I love the current version of Pirates, so of course, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing that could be a good walkthrough, and I think this proves itself to be like a very enjoyable.
Is there another good walkthrough?
I don't know. Certainly not at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, maybe the treehouse. And I don't think good is the right.
I would consider that a walkthrough attraction, and I say no bueno.
No bueno.
But Tom Sawyer Island,
yeah,
I also consider it to be a walkthrough attraction.
And also,
I consider it to be pretty good. I consider it to be very 1971. And I also consider it to be...
Well, that was the concern for me. When I hear the word walkthrough attraction, I'm like, okay.
Right.
We can do better.
Right. But did you feel that way when you were experiencing the
No. It also very much reminded me of walking through Pandora at night when it's got all of that beautiful foliage, like you said. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
And the rock work. It doesn't have the bioluminescence, but it's got like colors within the water.
Yes.
And there's moving water everywhere. And a lot of it is like play stuff. You know what I mean? Like one of it was that there were streams of water coming down and you like touch it and it makes a musical sound.
Right. Interactive elements.
Yes.
As Disney calls them.
Right. Some where you wave your hands and the water waves with you, etc. You know what I mean?
Very cute.
Yeah. So this area was surprisingly awesome, surprisingly big. Now, as a adult, is it something that I'm going to go back and do all the time? No. But kids will love it because, I mean, I would walk through it like on my way out.
Yeah.
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 Especially if it's at night.
I am really drawn to the type of things like this at night that are really like colorful and beautiful. We actually, when we discussed this on the podcast last, we said that our benchmark for whether or not this is going to be good is whether or not it's better than the glittering pavement that used to exist. What do we think?
Oh, that's not fair. I love that glittering
You're
pavement.
the one who came up with the comparison.
Okay, you're right. I think technically, yes, it's better than the glittering pavement.
I think in our case, it is actually very fair because we're going to treat it the same.
We are going to treat it the same. Except for you, we won't be walking the correct direction.
Oh, my
Because it doesn't you don't start and then walk towards the exit. You start and walk kind of back and to the right.
Yeah. But you know what? Where this might come in really handy? Hot EPCOT days.
Maybe.
Just walking through it and letting it cool you down. Because there's misters
everywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm not going to play in the water. But...
No. I don't want to get soaked, but I didn't.
Yeah, you're right.
When we went,
and
I didn't get
misted.
Soaked. I was definitely damp.
Yeah.
But
and they should have those everywhere.
a water feature of some kind, just a mister in general.
Just misters in general, I feel like should be all over the park.
I have to agree.
Yeah, like I used to live in Arizona, and they had misters just kind of everywhere. Like you'd go to the you'd go to the grocery store, and there's just misters outside.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, can we get some of this mist technology?
Yeah,
please?
I don't know if they think because we have humidity we don't need it, but that's not.
And I think so many lands, like when you walk under the Adventureland trellis, it
easy. Yeah,
it should spit mist at you. It fits in the theme.
It does fit in the theme. You're absolutely right.
There you go, girl. All over Adventureland.
The mist back there is something that I found very awesome. And you're right. If it's sweltering, we just walked in because there's no tram coming from the parking lot.
And now we're downtrodden.
Then yeah, maybe we want to get misted on our way back.
Or the other way. The World Showcase in the middle of the Florida heat, the middle of the day, is ruthless.
Yeah.
So if you just want to pop into Moana, cool down, go to Connections, get some food, it's nice. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. So I was really impressed. The highlight, of course, is still what we've been seeing for months. The Tafiti, statue? Not topiary. Certainly not. Figure? Yeah, she's amazing looking. She's cool. Once you get to the end of this walkthrough, there was a little area that had that splash pad that I've been talking about for a year. And I was like, hey, that's what I thought this was going to be. That's what I thought the whole thing was going to be. Maybe 1/16 of this attraction. There was even like an 18-month-old playing around in it. And I was like, that's exactly what I thought this was Here it is, the postcard that played in my mind. Yeah. There it is. So it wasn't that. It was much cooler. Some of my favorites of the interactive elements were the first one, which were streams of water that you played like strings of an instrument. Mm-hmm. I thought that was delightful. Got my hand wet though, so downside there. And I really liked the tunnel where you walk through it, and if you walk slowly, water parts around. Well, that's what the sign says. Yeah. I'm sure if you ran, it wouldn't stop for you. Right. The water parts around you, which I thought was really fun. And Morgan was like, I'm scared. I think it's going to get me wet. Yeah, I was worried. But it didn't. You know, like when you play putt-putt or something. And I also don't want to be wet, so I understand. Something squirting, and I'm like, nah, I'll skip this one. I'm trying to avoid being wet in this moment, but thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one in the putt-putt is... Right. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know where this water came from. Is it even clean water? Is it even... I don't even want to think about that. Yeah. And then also at the end, there's a reiteration of a concept they had introduced earlier, which was a motion-activated water spurt effect. Mm-hmm. But this one, if you joined together with someone and you did it at the same time, it made like this really big splash. Right. And so Morgan and I did it together, and I thought it was really cute. Very cool. I thought it was like a good, memorable moment that like people will bond over in a small way that I think is like a hallmark of the Disney experience that they have been missing out on a little bit in other attractions. Right. So that moment of that was really nice to me. And this definitely checked off the edutainment boxes that we love and a bit miss from old school Epcot. You know what I mean? Totally. There were plaques everywhere explaining water, the water cycle. Yeah, the water cycle. And its different phases. And conservation, water conservation, stuff like that. Yeah. They had a plaque and an exhibit for each stage of the water cycle and the implications, the environmental implications in a modern context-ish of what they were teaching. And I think that's really cool in old school Epcot too. Yeah. So that definitely earns points for me. I will say the one thing about the experience that is not a bad thing, but kind of did make me unexpectedly sad was I realized for the true first time that Future World has not just been renamed, but it's dead. Totally different. There is no the front half of the park, the focus is not strictly on the future anymore, and obviously Guardians is, I guess an example, maybe not. When it doesn't feel like it's future themed anyway, you know what I mean? And I don't feel that Test Track right now is particularly future themed, but it took this to make me kind of... Isn't that area going to be...
but Guardians Mission Space and Test Track is what's it called?
Oh, Guardians Mission Space and Test Track is World Discovery.
Right. So kind of future.
Sure, I would say future like adjacent, but like compared to the things that were there,
like dinosaurs.
No, like World of Motion universe. Right. Yeah, the dinosaurs.
Okay.
Whatever. I was just saying that, like,
but yeah, like the area,
especially aesthetically, like when you walk into Future World. This was actually my point to begin with. Is when you walk into Future World, be like, there's like a futuristic industrial style to all of the buildings and all of the structures and even the Fountain of Nations that was like inherently futuristic, and it was like a one-of-a-kind aesthetic.
Yeah.
As far as Disney went.
Right.
Because it was so...
It's hard to imagine when you're walking from World Showcase what we're even going to be seeing. Because you're right. Like, all of that water area is kind of behind plants.
Right.
Interesting. I can't even really imagine at this point.
Exactly. So, obviously, they've definitely been clear that they're going to get a lot of trees and stuff, like greenery in that hub. So I'm thinking they're just going to try to kind of like blend it to the scene, to the like...
Interesting.
Okay. You know what I mean? Like the trees and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they made it seem like that Dreamer's Point first half of the like central hub there, where that Walt Disney statue is going to be behind Spaceship Earth. They made it seem like it was going to be garden-like with like a lot of trees and grass and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. That's totally different. And the middle part, you're right. Like Spaceship Earth and where Fountain of Nations was and Fountain View, the cafe and Club Cool. Even if that stuff wasn't inherently futuristic, it did have a futuristic aesthetic to the outside.
Right.
And when you're walking from World Showcase, where you just had all of the different countries, it's like walking back into future Epcot, even if it's not really future.
Exactly.
You know, like Astronaut Mickey and
all
of that. He would have fit in there. Astronaut Mickey won't fit in anymore.
Right.
Sad.
Not next to Moana. It's just a different take on...
It's different.
The aesthetic of Epcot, and also definitely an end to the complete duality of it's futuristic in one half and World Showcase in the other half.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about the all the different identities of the front half of the park.
Yeah, it's a lot of people at the party.
And it's going to be confusing. Like if you had any kind of, like, it's just a lot of names to remember, even for a Disney enthusiast like myself.
Right. Do you mean like the attraction names?
No, I mean like World Discovery and...
the names of the lands themselves?
Yeah,
I've gotten it down just now.
Because I keep asking you 20 times a day.
No, because now things are starting to open.
Yeah.
So now I can picture what they're talking about. Of course, Moana is in world nature with the seas and the land.
Okay.
Like, of course,
that one does make sense.
Right. Now, we get a little bit more...
muddy?
Yeah, jagged pieces being put together when you're talking about Spaceship Earth and Figment being in the same thing.
No, I know. And what's that one called? Celebration?
World Celebration.
Yeah, I don't see the connection.
Education connection. You remember that? It was a commercial jingle. Not Disney related, sorry. But maybe
the other thing is they're not right next to each other.
Yeah. Maybe they're seeing like imagination is all about, how you can, the original version, I guess, more than the current version, which definitely dims this point, is that it was about like all the ways you can use imagination to express yourself. Like they had a whole section on the fine arts and movies and stuff, and that was a huge part of the branding of imagination. So like celebrating your imagination, your creativity, I could see thematically how they could lump that in. But if you ride Spaceship Earth and then you ride Figment, you would not think that they are in the same land of a theme park.
Right.
You would
and then
not
once
think
the other's about communication.
Yeah, that one is a stretch. Definitely a stretch.
Even the word celebration doesn't really work here.
Yeah. But I will say I am hoping that, and also Moana not even being in World Celebration, despite it being in the center
Right.
of EPCOT, is definitely going to take my brain a long time to
this is what yeah.
That's not the middle of
This
EPCOT
is
anymore.
what I
We
mean.
have to reimagine.
You've
in our
got
brains.
a bunch of different lands, and some of them aren't even things aren't right next to each other, and it's like a puzzle pieces. You know what I mean?
It's definitely less satisfying than this is Future World. This is the World Showcase.
Right. Or even in Magic Kingdom, where it's like, it's like a chunk and a chunk and a chunk and a chunk, and it goes around and it makes sense, and there's a clear definition, even in the pavement. Even if you're looking at what is embedded in the pavement between Adventureland and getting into Frontierland, it's different. The pavement is different.
Right.
So here, I just don't feel like there's enough surrounding these things to distinguish one land from another that you are wanting to change the name. Yeah. I think it's just confusing.
I have high hopes for it. I hope that it turns out seamless and the flow of it is natural and makes sense. And only time will tell. We'll know in December.
Yeah.
We'll be amongst the first there. I am beside myself excited for the walls to be down in one of my favorite places to be in the world.
Yeah.
So I will be there, and I'm just hoping it feels good.
Yeah. But I mean, all in all, we got to do 2 new things, and they were both really great. Yeah. We had an amazing night. The weather was also really nice. We stopped and got ice cream. It was a good night.
It was great. We also
low 80s.
Do you want to talk about the weather? The weather.
It's September, and when September's fabulous. A little could be hot, could be starting on fall for us. Usually, still pretty hot here.
Yep.
It was amazing the other night. It's still good now. It's in the low 80s.
The clouds blocked out the sun, and that helps.
Yeah.
But even just without that, it was still nice out, which is refreshing because it's been a long, hot summer.
Yeah, it sure has. Did I want to talk about what?
Did you want to take a dining detour and talk about our dining experience that we had as well?
Sure. Gosh, I hate to end on a not positive.
We'll bring it back around at the end with something fun and exciting, I promise.
So we tried something new, and that was a restaurant in Epcot.
Yeah, we did. We tried Nine Dragons.
A sit-down restaurant in China.
Yes. I had never eaten here.
Neither had I.
Yes.
Which is shocking.
Did you know anything about the experience?
I have looked at the menu a bunch because, I mean, we do like Chinese food, and I thought, but I kept going, this looks like you're charging me $26 for something that I can get for $10 at my local Chinese restaurant, and then I would decide to go try something different.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that decision has always gone. We think about it, and then I go, what's going to make it worth over double the price?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people are in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
And also maybe feeling that if they're on vacation and they're going to Epcot, they want to experience something that they can't get at their, favorite Chinese local restaurant.
Right.
So I think this one is kind of an underdog.
Yeah, there weren't very many people there.
No, it was a sparse crowd. There were hardly 9 people in the Nine Dragons. But we were some of them, and I will say it did make a positive first impression.
Yeah, the inside is gorgeous.
Yeah, I was very happy with the colors. I thought it felt like a welcoming kind of restaurant. I could tell that the carpet had been through things, but I don't hold that against theme park restaurants because children eat there.
Right. It was very intricately designed, all over. I thought it was very beautiful in there.
Yeah, it definitely had a lot of those really intricate details that I associate with the Epcot pavilions in World Showcase in general. So I did feel like I was doing some World Showcase dining. I felt like it gave me the vibe of, I'm doing that Epcot Nether Country kind of experience. Classic that. And then we took a look at the appetizers, and we made some decisions from there. I wanted to try spring rolls. I'm a spring roll fan. I just like the texture. I like that they're crunchy on the outside and those good steamed vegetables on the inside. Nice contrast.
Yeah. We also got this wasn't on the like menu that you can find online, but there's a thing on the table saying that they had like a dim sum appetizer that had crab and cheese wonton, so like a crab rangoon.
Yeah.
And and dumplings, like a pan fried dumpling. So two pretty classic Chinese restaurant appetizers. And when that came out, there were two of each of those things.
Right. Yeah, I was excited for my spring rolls. Yeah, well, I don't want to talk about value yet. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I tried the spring roll, and I would say it was right on par for what you expect from a spring roll situation, and it was served with this sweet and spicy sauce that I really, really liked.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
And then the two things on the other appetizer, the like crab rangoon and the dumpling, were both really good. Like, again, we do have a local Chinese restaurant that we like a lot, so I do get spoiled with this kind of thing. Yeah. But so they were on par with that, maybe even a little better, although that could have been because instead of driving 15 minutes to bring it home and then eating, I was getting it the second it came out.
Super fresh, and the service was good.
The appetizers for me were the best parts.
Have to agree. I thought they were strong, if not a bit overpriced. Sorry, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about pricing, but here we go.
But it was so overpriced.
It was so wildly
overpriced.
The
dim sum appetizer that had two of the things was, I think it was $11.50.
Yeah.
It was something like that. So, and yours was like
$6 or $8 or something.
Yeah, because you said these are like $3 each.
Right.
And mine was like $2.75 each.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely.
So that's a lot. A $2.75 dumpling, a $2.75 crab rangoon. It's not like it was giant.
Right. But you know what? We were at EPCOT and the food was good. So at this point, it was fine. My hopes were still high, and I felt like, all right, we're gonna trudge ahead. And so I ordered the peppered beef that they had as my entree, and then
you remember the names. I don't.
Oh,
we got some sort of honey fried chicken.
Yes, you had a spicy honey glazed chicken.
Right, and then a shrimp and chicken kung pao, I think.
Yes, that's exactly what that was. How did you enjoy your shrimp and chicken kung pao?
It was fine. It was not as good as my local Chinese restaurant would be. It was served with white rice and no vegetables, and it was different than a regular like kung pao sauce. It was spicy but not really sweet. It was just fine.
Gotcha.
What about yours? I know, because I was there, but why don't we talk about yours, and then we'll talk about the middle one.
I am not someone who ever complains about much of anything to servers or anyone in a restaurant environment. And for a while when eating this, I thought that I was just going to finish it because that's what I always do. And I gave a piece to Morgan, and I said, "How do you like this?" And she said, "Wow." And then I offered her husband Michael a piece, and Morgan said exactly what I was feeling about it, which was, it's like Salisbury steak.
It's like budget cuisine frozen meal Salisbury steak. Exactly. Like exactly. Like if you had told me that that's what you were giving me, I mean, you didn't. It's just that's exactly what it tasted like. It was crazy.
I didn't taste any pepper. Michael
said it was like kid cuisine Salisbury steak.
Right.
Anyway, go on.
I didn't really taste hardly anything.
It was weirdly soft.
That's what I was gonna say next, was that the most unappealing thing about it, unfortunately, was the texture. It was like, I would describe it as soft and mealy in a way that
beef shouldn't be.
No one wants their meal to be.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate.
It was really tough. Yeah, so I did ask them if I could maybe swap it for something else. And they were super nice about it. Our server was super nice about it, and
our server did get you something else.
Yeah, which
I don't know about super nice about it, but yeah, they were fine about it.
It was enough for me.
They didn't argue, I guess. If that, it depends on what you were expecting, but yeah, okay, go on.
Well, I, as someone who never sends anything back, was expecting the worst.
Right, I understand that completely. I don't really do it either. I completely get where you're coming from. We don't really do that. We both have worked as servers. I worked as a server for way more years than I am even going to try to count up and remember right now. But I think in this situation, this was a fair request.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely having tasted it, I totally agree. But yeah, she brought me something else, which was what Michael had, which was the spicy honey
fried
chicken situation. Yeah. And I'll talk about that a bit. I thought that was decent.
Fine.
Yeah, I thought that was decent.
I thought it was fine too. Again, not as good as my local Chinese restaurant. Go my local Chinese restaurant.
I was gonna say this was approaching standard Chinese quality, which was a massive upgrade from what I had last. So I was glad to have it in front of me.
But still, you are looking at paying triple.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it was worth it. I'm just saying I was excited to have something that I could
edible
eat in front of me.
For sure.
Yeah. So honestly, this was a surprising experience. Even in situations where we're eating like bad quick service food or whatever, I don't really care. But this, I don't know, this felt wild, probably because of the price. I wasn't expecting to be disappointed as much as I was.
Yeah, this was pretty disappointing. Definitely not something I'm going to go back and do again.
Nope, probably not.
So that's that. I mean,
I will say this is probably the worst reviewed thing we've ever done. Well, I don't mean worst review. This is the worst we've ever reviewed something.
Yeah.
The lowest, I would say.
And unfortunately, our first podcast review. We do a lot of Disney restaurant reviews on our YouTube channel, and then we were like, let's start integrating restaurant reviews into the podcast. And unfortunately, this is what we're starting on.
But it's good because it is
you've got to get an honest opinion from us, yeah.
Yes, and it's the baseline for our future experiences. Mm-hmm. So that now when we introduce food on the podcast and it's great, we can know that it's so much better than
and you can know that we're not just saying everything's great, because that's not what we're going to do.
Yeah, we had a really bad experience at this one. Sorry. We are excited though, or I'm excited that there are still some restaurants we haven't tried. So we've got some more reviews that will be coming. And like Morgan said, if you want to check out the Neverland Navigation Co. YouTube page, then you could really, you could find that we've done a bunch already.
We love eating at Disney World.
We do. We eat there all the time.
All the time. We spend all our money on Disney World food.
Yeah, and you have to if you want to eat there.
You do.
Because,
And most of the time it's really worth it.
Yeah, if you know where to eat.
Yeah. Whenever we have a special occasion, like we live in the Tampa area, and I'm always like, well, let's go out to this Disney restaurant. Let's have breakfast at Topolino's.
I've been wanting to try this, or or like going back to our favorites. That's definitely something that we get to enjoy. The food reviews are also super fun.
Yeah.
Was there anything else from our EPCOT day that we wanted to
we watched EPCOT Forever, which is going away, but I really enjoyed it. There's nothing to see, you know what I mean?
Right.
Projection wise. Mm-hmm. But for if you're an EPCOT super fan, like old school, like you're going to EPCOT to wait in an hour for Soarin' over California, the 1999 ride or whatever. Yeah. No, I think it's 2001. That it came out in Disneyland. Anyway, if you're old school EPCOT, then I still think you might like this fireworks show because it has all of the like throwback songs and stuff like that because it's celebrating EPCOT as a park.
Right.
Okay. My like nerdy Disney history loving self loves this, even though there's nothing to watch. So that was a fun. I get that it's not got all the bells and whistles of the shows with the projections, but for me, it's fun.
I really like Epcot Forever. I think it really has a great set of songs.
Yeah.
The old Epcot songs are super fun. Obviously, if you're an Epcot fan, then you get excited for them. And of course, they do still have fireworks, and they still do light up the different countries around the world. They use the torches around the World Showcase Lagoon. There are some laser type things. It's only very sporadic.
And the lights kind of dance around. You know what I mean?
And there's
like,
some
it's not
lighting.
just, yeah.
But yeah, when you're used to something more multimedia, like Happily Ever After or Harmonious,
this isn't that.
Then this definitely isn't that. But it is some good, like, this is how Disney fireworks used to be.
Yeah.
Was just fireworks set to music. So in that way, it's kind of fun.
And this one is for, I feel like, either the people that just care about the fireworks in general, or the people that are old school Epcot fans, like the super fans, like us.
So it's fun to have. It's a good idea for an interim show. I like this idea that they're doing of creating these short-term experiences for the super fans.
Yeah.
So like Epcot Forever, Soarin' over California.
Yes.
They're short-term, but then you can say, "Oh, I was there when they brought back Soarin' over California."
Somebody in leadership.
Do Captain EO again. Yeah. They're hardly using that theater.
I know. Somebody in leadership right now is clearly a super fan, like one of us,
or has a Twitter account.
Yeah, and is seeing that this is why, you know what I mean?
I do.
Because even on the new Disney cruise ship, they put a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea themed bar. That's only for us. Yeah. That's only for us super fans that have been like ride or die Disney since we were infants.
Or we're the only ones who will fully understand what they're going for.
But they did that, I feel like, for us. Epcot Forever is for us. Bringing back Soarin' over California, I feel like that's for us. You know what I mean? And it's nice to be recognized.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely playing to a very loyal market to them. And despite our loyalty and the millions of dollars they've earned, sometimes it is a little easy to feel like they're forgetting about us because this is
or forgetting their roots,
tourist forward situation that they've got going on here. But yeah, I think this is proving that they can do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
In addition to the standard, discounts and stuff that they offer the annual pass holders. It's nice to have a little, like, like it's almost like a shout out via attraction overlay.
There are super fans and Disney history fans and loyal fans that aren't even pass holders, that don't even live in Florida. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is for them too.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good point. That there are super fans all out over the country. It's very true. All out over the world.
Yeah.
Soaring around the world.
I knew you were going to get corny.
Soaring the tower. Nice job, pal. Oh, wow. That was fun. Hey, we're out of time.
Circling back to something happy. Is that what it was? Epcot Forever? I also got ice cream on the boardwalk, you guys.
Oh, yeah, that's what we should close on because that was really good.
Yeah. I'm telling you. It's Edie's ice cream. So you can buy it at your local grocery store, but for whatever reason, it's better when you're there.
Yep. And also Edie's ice cream, in my opinion, is good.
It's so good.
It's pretty good. What are you mad at? Yeah. I like it. I've got some in my freezer right now.
Yeah.
It was on sale. But I enjoy it. I think something Morgan was saying that getting, after Epcot, getting ice cream at the boardwalk is similar to the sensation of getting ice cream at the Plaza Ice Cream Shop at the end of a Magic Kingdom day.
Yeah.
But without all of the terrible lines and crowds and stuff. So
boardwalk
it's really breezy.
So slow and like relaxing at night.
Yeah. I love the boardwalk.
I do too.
So finishing an Epcot day at the boardwalk is always nice.
Yeah.
But then having we did not wait for the ice cream.
No.
It was right after the fireworks.
Yeah.
We did not wait for the ice cream. The ice cream was good. We were happy.
Yeah. And it was like
Made everything be so simple.
Warm, but like, so it wasn't like it was sweltering and the ice cream was melting. It was like perfect. Perfect night. Yeah. I'm really happy how everything worked out.
Oh, yeah, it was a really good Disney experience. Definitely, we had a lot in Epcot to look forward to, and that feels nice. We are rooting for this park so hard that the wins, when they come, we're like, oh, yeah, amazing.
You saying it's the beginning of the end of this, like, construction era, like, you're right. That's exactly right. We are, like, really starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And it is so exciting.
Guardians was the first thing.
Yeah.
Because we had seen that huge building and waited for that for so long.
Yeah.
So it feels great now that that's open. And then, this Moana thing really has me on the hook for...
What a big chip.
Almost there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge chip. Big part of what they promised.
Yeah.
So that's nice. All right. If you've enjoyed this discussion and you're also excited for the Epcot walls to come down, then you should subscribe to the podcast. If you're on a podcast audio platform like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Pandora, then we would love for you to leave us a review as well, letting us know if you've enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us on Instagram or TikTok at Neverland Navco.
Right. Or you can find our Etsy shop, Neverland Navigation, where you can order custom t-shirts and hand towels, and also browse some parks-inspired designs that we have on the website as well. So if you're looking for matching shirts going to the parks as a family or gifts, I know the holiday season is coming up, maybe it might be fun to take a little peek over to the extraordinarily well-reviewed, thank you everyone on the internet, Neverland Navigation Etsy shop.
Yep, absolutely. And you can also find us at neverlandnavigation.co, where you can find links to all of our stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you on our next adventure. Goodbye.